Russell and Mr. Jerry Franklin Poe. We're excited to be here this week. Listen, if you know someone who should be tuning in, let them know that we are starting right now. And do us a favor and let us know in the comments if you're tuning in live or
Jerry
tuning
Franklin
in
Poe.
on a replay. So do hashtag live and let us know what city you're tuning in from, and hashtag replay and let us know what city you're tuning in this week. We got an exciting show for you today. We're going to be talking about how Jerry and myself accomplish goals in our business and our personal lives. And we're going to share with you the things that you can do to achieve them as quickly as possible. So, with that, we're going to dive in right now.
All right, all right, all right. It's Technology Tuesday. That's right, folks. We are here every week, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you practical knowledge, practical applications. So you can have practical solutions for your business. And Greg, as usual, has been in the lab creating, creating some ideas to help us stay on track. We're almost reaching the end, or in the middle, I should say, of the second quarter of the year. So for those of us, January just seemed like it was yesterday, but now we're in the spring. Next thing you know, it'll be May, June. And before you know it, you'll be in the fall, wrapping up a year. And like, well, where did the time go? And
Where'd it go?
and what did we actually accomplish? So we want to make sure as we're starting to get to that midpoint of our year to make sure that we're still on track to what we want to get done for this year.
Yes, sir. So, if you think about most people set goals at the beginning of the year and try to achieve those goals. And so, if you start looking at, how have you been progressing on those goals, there's a lot of times there's things that we can do to help us achieve those goals. And a lot of times it's just about putting certain things in place to do that. And so we're going to talk about those things, and specifically about the systems that you have around goal setting, the systems that you have around your business to allow you to achieve those goals. And so when it comes down to it, when you really look at the things that you want to do, it's all about the systems you have in place to help you do those things. So I think taking a real hard look at the systems that we have, because a lot of people want to automate their business and have certain tools to do certain things for them so they can have more time. But if you step back, is there a real system in place to do so? So before we dive in, Jerry, I know this is something that you are really passionate about and have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to systems and achieving your goals. And so I just wanted to give you a minute to go a little bit deeper, if you want to, on the importance of having systems in your personal life and your business to help you achieve the goals you want.
Okay, cool. I think that the word system can be interchanged with process, checklist. I mean, a lot of us operate best when we have a certain framework, when we have a um, process or plan, when we know what we're supposed to actually do, right? So when you were taught to tie your shoes, they broke it down into a system. Then that system became second nature. Now you don't have to think about it from a system. They be like, take the bunny ear here, take a bunny ear there, put the bunny goes through a loop. It was everything was given to you
Step by step.
as a system because that's how the brain learns. It learns through systems. And eventually the system becomes indoctrinated. Like you get it, you go from what people would call like conscious to non-conscious in terms of the system is just automatic. And once that system becomes automatic, now you don't have to think about it. You just actually do it. And the goal for a lot of us, or I should say, the hope for us is when it comes to your life, when it comes to your business, the things that you want to accomplish on a routine or regular basis, to start it off by creating a system that you repeat enough times where that system starts to get integrated into your everyday way of being.
I think that is a great analogy of how we learn and how important systems are. Because now, when you think about it, tying your shoe, where most of us that have to tie our shoes, it's not something we technically have to think about it, and it's something that we did have to think about at one point, but now it just happens without you having to give it much time or effort. But in the very beginning, it took some time and some effort for you to get that in place. Um, and so, yeah, I appreciate that. I like that. So yeah, man, let's dive in and let's talk about systems in a way that I think will open up the thought process a little bit more, because it's so important to have the right systems in your business. So I'm going to jump over to the screen and share, and we'll talk about what is a system. Let me move this out of the way here. So a system is a set of interactions, interacting or independent elements forming a complex, unified whole that together to achieve a specific purpose, right? And so that is the uh, definition of a system. And to an extent, yes, that is actually true. But I like to break it down a little bit more simpler for entrepreneurs like myself and Jerry, and talk about examples of systems, right? And so, examples of systems we have, because you can associate this to the things you already know, like the nervous system, the digestive system, the cardiovascular system, right? These are all systems within yourself that makes yourself work, right? And each system has its own particular purpose that helps the whole system, being you, operate, right? So if you took the skeletal system out of yourself, then you would be a blob of skin and muscle lying on the ground. And even though you could move, you couldn't function like you function now, because the skeletal, your bones, your skeleton give your whole system a purpose to be able to structure the way you are. So each piece is important to the whole, and so a lot of times when it comes to systems, it's the individual pieces that make up the entire thing, right? And so outside of the human body, there's like the solar system, right? And there's all the planets make up the whole thing. A computer system. A computer system has a monitor, a CPU, a mouse, a keyboard, right? Even a laptop, which is a type of enclosed computer system, has all those things. It has a screen, it has a keyboard, it has a mouse pad, right? So you can do the things. And so all these things are systems that have smaller systems within them to make up the whole. And so my definition of a system for the entrepreneur is it's a step-by-step set of actions that lead to a particular result, right? And so when it comes to the things you want, the things you want in your business, the income goals, the relationships you want to have, right? It goes back to those actions. So first you have to understand, what are the desired results of your business, and do you have a system in place to get to that result, right? And so a lot of times, if you think about, like, at the beginning of the year, if someone says, "Hey, we want to, lose weight," and they have a quote unquote plan, right, to go to the gym, to eat right, and then are they consistently doing those things, right? Are they consistently doing the actions and the processes, and doing all the things they need to be able to get the result? Well, do you have the systems in your business to get the result? So the first part is, what is the result you have? And then asking yourself, do you have a system to get you that result? So before we go on, Jerry, I want you to do your magic here and go a little bit deeper on that, because I know you you are really good at helping people visualize and understand the importance of uh, using themselves, using their mind, and using the things they do to be able to get the results they want. And so my goal is to help our viewers get the results they want.
Well, as you stated, we're already experiencing life through systems. We just don't always think about it. Like, we don't think about the systems that are operating in our body on a regular basis unless there's an issue. Like, you don't think about your digestive system unless you get a stomach ache. You don't think about your nervous system unless there's some type of pain. You don't think about your respiratory system. So those systems are taking place and most of them it's automatic because that's how your brain works. You have a conscious part of your brain and an unconscious part of your brain. And most people don't wake up in the morning thinking about, am I still breathing, or am I like, unless you're having a shortness of breath, right? You just automatically breathe, your heart automatically beats. So those systems are working because our brain is actually a system that has a part that's conscious where you go to sleep and now you're not conscious, but the unconscious part of your brain is working all the time automatic. So within that, within the idea of those systems, there's still a quote unquote behavioral system, and that behavioral system starts. Well, I should say it ends with it. All the systems end with the quote unquote result, regardless of whatever system we're talking about. Everything always ends with an outcome or a result. But in order to get a result, results will take action. Well, actions typically are generated based off of how we feel. If you feel like doing something, right, you have the motivation, you do it. If you don't have the motivation, you don't do it. And
Mm,
motivation or feeling is based off of your thinking, right? You think, and your thoughts come from your beliefs, and your beliefs come from your programming. So there's a whole behavioral system as to how we actually produce results. And the challenge with that, in terms of like why some people execute, right, and perform actions, like last time we talked about the execution gap, why some people get results at a higher clip than other people, why some people produce results at a higher clip than other people. It all goes back to that behavioral system, that's a sequence of processes. And typically what happens is people only look at half of the system, right? It's uh, from a health perspective, right? There's two different procedures. You have a colonoscopy and an endoscopy, right? It's the same digestive tract, but you're looking at one end versus the other end. I don't want to get too deep into that because I don't
I
want to,
love it.
like,
One end versus the other.
I don't want to, I want people to still stay tuned in, right? So a lot of times when it comes to our results, people are only looking at one section. They look at
Hmm.
the output and they look at what am I doing to get it. And they say, well, if I change what I do, I will change the output. But that usually only generates short-term change
Hmm.
because at some point you stop. So you talked about the New Year's resolutions. Well, you can search this. I'm not making something up that's not been already recorded. They got the data to prove it. I think it's January 17th or January 18th is the date that they say that most people quit the resolution. And what they mean by quit the resolution is that you were focused on it consciously for a short period of time, and then at some point it becomes harder for you to stay focused on it. It's called willpower, right? Willpower doesn't work for everybody. So they're like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But then eventually it's like, oh, you end up reverting back to what you have already been programmed to do,
Right.
right? Whatever, which we, for those who don't know what that means, is really, it's called habit, right? So whatever your habit was, that's what you eventually get pulled back to. You get pulled back to that habit. So you can, for a short period of time, focus on, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. And then eventually, habit says, it's like pulling a rubber band. And it's like, at some point, you stretch it and it snaps back to its original state. And that's what happens if you don't look at the whole entire system of behavior. So if you change the start of the system, then it will eventually change the domino effect. You change the programming, it will change the thinking. It changes the beliefs. Excuse me. It changes the thinking. It changes how you feel. It changes what you do. It changes your result. And then if you do that enough, right, working on the actual programming, believing, the thinking part long enough, then that eventually becomes a new habit, and the rest of the stuff becomes automatic process.
Awesome. I completely agree. I think that that part about consistently thinking about it plays a big part in the rest of the stuff, right? And in it going part. So what parts can you control? Determine the at the end the end result, right? So are you doing any things to remind yourself to think about it in the way you want to think about it, and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I'll give you another way of looking at it. So let's say you get pulled over for speeding,
Mm-hmm.
right? So some people have what they call a heavy foot. I mean, when they hit the pedal,
Lead foot.
they put a lot of weight on it. So they get pulled over for speeding. Now, for a short period of time, they become really conscious of what speed they're driving because, like, the ticket was like $250 or whatever because they were driving so fast. So they're like, the hit is like, I don't want that. I don't want another ticket. So I'm going to be real cognizant of the fact that I'm following the speed limit because I don't want to get pulled over again. But how long does that typically last? The more days that transpire after you get the ticket, the less likely you are to focus on, am I still maintaining the speed limit, to the point you eventually you get back and you're just driving the same way you were before. But for a short period of time, you're like, I'm going to drive safer or on the safer side. And then eventually you get distracted. And when you get distracted by other stuff in life, habit automatically kicks back in.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So I want to talk about, what do you do to get success? So I'm going to jump back over here, and let's first define, what I mean by success. And so basically, consistently executing on a set of actions, kind of just what you had mentioned before, right? Do you have systems in place to help you consistently execute on a set of actions? So just like, we talk about consistency a lot, like, if you want to be consistent at posting on social media, do you have a system that will help you do it consistently enough to the point where it becomes like tying your shoe, where like it gets done? It doesn't take a lot of effort and energy and time to do it because it is now built into your process, right? And so can you create certain success systems around the things you want to have done so that you can reach the goals that you want to reach? And so it's all about, consistently executing on those set of actions. And so I want to talk to you about three systems, Jerry, that I believe every entrepreneur needs for success, right? These are the three. Now, there's obviously more than three, but you need to have these three main ones going, right? And so, first one I'm going to talk about is a goal setting system. Do you have a system to set goals, review goals, and ultimately achieve goals? And part of that is, if you set the goals and you consistently look at them, right? You consistently make them top of mind, just like you said with the speeding, because it was like, oh, the thing was the shock of the ticket and not having to experience the desired result of paying something that you shouldn't have had to pay for. But if you consistently look at your goals, the things that you want to change, that helps with that other part of your mind that you talked about, Jerry, the subconscious mind, to help get that working to help you achieve those goals as well. So consistently reviewing your goals and consistently setting goals and consistently setting small steps to move yourself towards the result of a goal is something that you should have in system. And so if you ask yourself, hey, do you have a goal setting system? If the answer is no, you should look at obtaining one, right? Because if you're not where you want to be and you're trying to get to another level, then you need to ask yourself, do you have a goal setting system? So this is the most important ones that I think that you have that most people don't have, is the actual system for setting goals. Um, and when it comes to setting goals, right, it takes time, effort, and energy. And so the second system is a time management system, right? And so because if you're trying to achieve your goals, we all only have 168 hours in a week, right? That's all it is in a week. And so if you know, take out sleep, and if you have a full-time job, or if you have certain other things, right, there's only but so much time left over for you to be able to put towards working your goals. Well, if you know what your goals are and you know it's going to take some time to get there, you should manage that time as most efficiently as you can so that you can have the most time towards working on the things that you want to work on. And if you look at your goals and you don't have the time to achieve your goals, or you don't have enough time, like that's something you should know ahead of time. Like, all right, well, maybe the time that I want to achieve the goal has to be pushed back based on the time you have to actually work on it. And so these are the two systems that work hand in hand to help you achieve your goals. And the last one is a health management system. Do you have something that where you are working to obtain the health results you want and then maintain the optimal health once you get it, right? Do you have a health management system, a system that manages and recognizes your exercise habits and your eating habits? And listen, you can set all the goals you want and have all the time management, but if you don't have your health, like, then your only goal is to get healthy. So these are the three things, the three systems that you need to have in place for you to be the entrepreneur that you want to be and to reach the goals that you want to be. I think these three are the top, and then your things that you really want to achieve within your business fit within these three main systems. Jerry, did you want to add on anything to this?
Well, the thing that I would add is having the system is critical, but also knowing how to run the system is important. So you can have a health management system, but you may not actually know how to do the actual activity. And so, for example, you go to the gym and if you watch people, some people know how to do the actual exercise and some people don't. Like I remember I was at the gym with my brother and we were just watching somebody not know how to use a machine properly. And they think they're getting it in. They're like in there like and it's like and like you don't want to like you like try to say something, try not say something because they're on the machine backwards. It's like they're not even on it properly. So you're not going to get the results that you're looking for because you're not using the system the way it was designed to be used. So some people will get a system and not even know how to use the system. So it's important to have the system, but it's also important to have the knowledge to know how to use it. And this is where getting a coach would come into play, someone who can show you how to get the best. I don't want to use the word like how to get the best results in a shorter period of time. So if you are thinking about lifting weights, well, there's certain ranges of motion that are going to create better results than other ranges of motion. Right? When you think about setting goals, a lot of people don't understand the difference between goal setting and goal getting.
Mm,
And I'll say that again for those that didn't hear it in the
mm,
back. Some people don't know the difference between goal setting and goal getting. A lot of people are really good at goal setting, but not so much at goal getting because there is a system to even knowing how to write a goal. You can have a goal setting system, but do you know how to write the goal in the goal setting system? So let's flip this to technology, right? So I'm encountering more and more people who are using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Copilot. And the stuff that they're getting from those particular platforms is really basic and generic. And it's almost transparent to me that they used AI to produce the result. Whatever it is they wrote, the email that they wrote, the thing that they gave me, whatever the report they submitted, it was like I can just look at it and like I know you did this on AI because they don't know how to write a prompt, right? So you can have the AI, but if you don't understand how to write a prompt in a way that gives you the best results, the optimal results, the results that you need to make you look professional, now you look like an amateur. So a lot of people have the systems, but they also need to know how to use the system properly to maximize the results. So if you're saying I only have 168 hours, well, how do I maximize that time so I'm not wasting anything because no one knows how much time they have, right? My mentor used to say you have two B days. You have a birthday and a box day. No one really
box day.
knows how much you have in between. Those 2 days are going to happen, but you don't know how much space that dash really is.
Mm,
So I think of time as a bank account where you don't know the balance.
mm,
That's right. Time is a bank account where you don't know the balance. We know how much money you have in your bank because you can go get a report. No one's sending you a statement every month to see how much time you have left. So
mm,
you want to be more effective in your result production by having someone So when Greg, when you say, well, Jerry, you know a lot about this, is because I've spent the majority of my life trying to understand the systems to produce the results. Because I didn't want, I mean, I'll be completely transparent with everybody. I'm lazy, but I have a better way of saying it. I'm ambitiously lazy. So because I don't really want to do a lot of work and I don't really want to work that hard, I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to
I
get
love it.
it done so I can go and do some stuff I really want to do. Right? I want to do this so I can produce the results so I can really go out here and play, right? Go on a trip and spend time with my family. I don't want to be like
Mm,
working really hard all the time.
mm,
So that's why I study the stuff that I study. I learn the things that I learn. I get the certifications that I've gotten is because I want to be able to maximize the time to produce the most results so I don't have to be focused heavily on working all the time.
man, listen, that's deep. He said, I want to focus my energy on creating systems that will maximize the output so I can do the things that I want to do because I don't want to spend all that time working. That's deep. I appreciate that, man. And to some extent, I think a lot of people will can attest to that. They'd rather enjoy their time doing things they enjoy than work, right? That's just I think that's natural. I think that's most people. But how are you going to focus on that so that you can actually get the maximum output? And so that's what we're talking about today. And so in the spirit of Technology Tuesday and sharing apps and resources, I do have a resource that I want to share with you guys that I think is one of the best resources for um, obtaining your goals, and it's an app called uh, Let's Go, and you can get it at getletsgo.com, and it'll allow you to not only write your goals but create um, smaller steps to achieve your goals, and it'll allow you to reflect on the things that you are thinking about and working towards every single day. And if you use this app, it will give you a 10x chance of achieving your goals much faster just because you are using it. Now, there are goal setting apps. If you already have one, ask yourself, have you been using it? If you don't have one, I recommend this one. It's $10 a month, and it is by far one of the best out there on the market, and you can get it at getletsgo.com. And it's something that I use, and it's something that has helped me to be not only more productive, but more focused on the things that will allow me to be more productive. Um, so check it out. It allows you to have your affirmations in there, notes. It's an app that you can run in the morning and check off stuff in the evening and keep you on task for achieving your goals. So Jerry, to your point, this is a tool that they can use to basically help them get to using the resources that are available to them to get their results. So that is getletsgo.com. And if you don't have a goal setting app, I highly recommend you grab this one. It's what I use.
And feel free to reach out to myself on social media, send me a message or whatever you if you need help on how to actually write the goal in a way that's going to be more effective for you in actually achieving it and getting it. Because there's a certain way to write goals. There's a system for that. There's a system for writing goals to help drive your action.
Well, I'll tell you what. How about you help me write my next set of updated goals in the near future, and we'll put that in the group, and people can follow along. And in this way, if they want your help, you can reach out. They can reach out to you directly. And
Yep.
so make sure you join the group. Hit us up at technologytuesday.com. Make sure you're there so that you can get access to exactly how to write your goals. Remember, you only have 168 hours a week, so you got to get as much you got to get as much out of it as you possibly can so that you can do the things that you love instead of spending more time doing the things you have to do. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in this week to Technology Tuesday. Make sure you join the group, technologytuesday.com, and make sure you tune in every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that, we'll talk to you guys later. Take care.